Ladies and gentlemen, this is your Valor 18 featured bout in the women's bantamweight division, brought to you by Valor 19 and 20. Your referee when to begin is Josh Ward. Into the first, fighting out of the Hogs red corner with another two wins and no losses. She weighed 136 pounds. Fighting involved in Medina, Ohio, Jessica the Zombie Zomcik. Standing across the face, fighting in the OEB blue corner. Tonight she makes her professional debut. She weighed 139 pounds. Playing a Shield Systems in Knoxville, Tennessee. Amy
Coleman. Muscular girl, and being a judo black belt, you got to think that does play into her favor.
You know, Coleman came in and she scores the kind of the takedown and some punches.
Told you she don't care to pull guard.
Coleman was, you know, a really hot prospect as an amateur, but you lost her final two amateur fights, so both finished in both. So a little bit of a momentum, absence as she makes her pro debut here, gentlemen.
Most definitely, and going to get somebody that's 2-0 as a pro and already used to the 15-minute, fights and things like that makes a huge difference.
Very, very odd decision from Zomcik to actually clinch up with a judo black belt. That kind of surprises me.
Zomcik's been around though. I believe she had almost 20 amateur fights. 2 pro fights compared to none for Coleman. She's been fighting for a long time. Coleman just made her debut, about 3 years ago. So there's a definite experience gap for Coleman in this fight.
Yeah, and as you notice that the Amy, she's the one trying to break away from the clinch, and the Zombie's the one that's coming forward wanting to engage in the clinch. So they must have seen something in Coleman's game that makes them want to do that.
One of the cooler fighter nicknames. I guess we can say there's a zombie apocalypse in Pigeon Forge if Zomcik wins tonight.
Nice boxing. Good little head kick.
Nice
angle from Coleman.
Coleman's showing more stand-up than I've seen from her in the past. She's been content to use that judo, get opponents down and use that ground and pound to wear them out. Showing some boxing and some kickboxing here.
Might be looking to kind of prove a point with her last 2 losses. Come in here and show that she's comfortable, she's changed, she's ready for all angles.
Another head kick.
Zombie walking right through him, proving her nickname to be correct,
Hopefully they're not paying her in brains. But anyway.
Oh, good right hand from Zomcik.
Zomcik is legit. I mean, also was a high school football player, played semi-pro women's football, offensive line. Yeah,
that's incredible.
We talked to her over at MMA Insider about it, and actually had to quit playing football for a back injury. Started going into MMA to help the back, and here she is now as a pro fighter, undefeated pro, as they clinch up, and there she goes to that guard, guys.
See, that's the thing that Amy's had trouble with in her last amateur fights. She's been caught in some wild submissions. She's faded a little bit in the later rounds and got put in trouble. Just like the fight with the much anticipated, the much wanted rematch with Shanna Young. That's a fight that's got like 15,000 views on YouTube. It's a fight of the year. MMA Insider Fight of the Year, was it not, Mr. Miller?
It was MMA Insider 202013 Amateur Fight of the Year.
That's what I'm saying. So she just puts herself in bad positions in later rounds of fights, and she's looking. Zomcik is fishing for an armbar right here.
Tyler, I don't know how many of Amy's fights you've seen in person. What are your impressions of the action so far here?
Man, I'm kind of surprised by both girls. They're both not doing what I expected. Coleman actually doing a little bit more striking than I would expected, pushing out of the clinch. Zomcik actually being aggressive and going for the clinch. I can't wrap my head around that. That's very surprising to see someone do that against a judo black belt. But it might just be playing on the fact that they probably did not suspect Coleman to expect that.
Coleman's obviously a strong girl. I mean, she's just she's just like controlling her with her legs and stuff like that on the ground. It's pretty impressive, really, to see her just posturing up and throwing punches like she's doing.
Also worth noting, Coleman did miss weight for this fight, I believe, by 3 pounds. So
139. Yep.
Yeah, 139. Could have weighed in at 136. So that might be a factor too. Maybe a conditioning factor for Coleman, where she wasn't able to make the weight.
I don't think it's a condition factor. I think that she's just that big of a girl. I mean, not in a bad way, of course.
But she's made 135 before. Would be my point, But
as you get older and as you make weight, as we know, Tyler, that weight gets harder to make each and every time you do it, and each and every time you allow yourself to blow back up in between fights.
Yeah, man, making weight's a lot of times the hardest part of fighting. It's harder than the actual fight itself. So we never really know what was going on in a fighter's camp that kind of kept them from making the weight. So, for us to sit outside and just sit here and wonder, we never can really tell.
Stands him up here. We're entering nearing the end of the first round, so chance for Zomcik to maybe try to do something. I think it's been a round that Coleman's controlled for the most part.
Most definitely.
No signs of intimidation or anything like that in her first pro fight against a 2-0 pro. Been pretty impressive.
Now, something that Zomcik's done good is when Coleman throws the outside leg kick, then Zomcik does a little straight right hand and catches her every time.
You guys go.
Still got an electric monkey energy drink in the house. The official.
Well, one round in the books, Tyler Midden. Who do you have winning that round?
Man, that's a really tough one. I think I'm actually going to give that one to Zomcik. I thought it was really cool how she just kind of came forward and took Coleman's game plan to Coleman, clinched her. I just think that really weighs a lot when you can take a fighter and you can actually beat them at what they're good at.
I can agree with that. I see the fight just going a little bit differently. I thought that Amy, she's probably on top for the whole last probably minute and a half, and also landed some big head kicks too. But she did get control against the cage a few times. Pulling guard. It don't really count for a takedown, but you're still on your back. So I'm going to go 10-9 for Coleman on that round.
All right, here we go. Round 2 getting ready to begin here, and a lot of support here for Coleman. Clearly, got a UFC fighter, Scott Holtzman, in the corner. That's always got to help things. One of those other Shield Systems products. He's also been training there fairly regularly at MMA Lab there in Arizona. One of the more formidable gyms, I think, really in the country at this point.
Cool things about fights like this, there's that misconception that girl fights are just wild cat fights and they're scraps. And you have girls that come out here like this and they have like a really good solid game plan. They look real professional out there. This isn't a cat fight, man. These are professional athletes just like men, just like anyone else, and they're showing that.
Nice little head kick, try to come high. Oh, both of them check the kick. That did not feel good. A lot of people don't understand how bad kicks and elbows and things like that hurt too.
Really
even if you're landing them. If you're landing the kick, if you're landing the knee or an elbow, it still hurts you too. I mean, a lot of people don't understand that. And there's that straight right hand again as she throws that outside kick that I was talking about earlier.
I'm really impressed with the way Coleman's stand-up has progressed since the last time I've seen her. Throwing those high head
together.
kicks.
She's going to get a takedown right here. She's going to take a ride for a double right here, I believe. She just needs to suck her legs out.
Coleman up.
Nice takedown from Zomcik. Nice double leg. What she done right there was she lowered her. She dropped her level. She didn't drop to her knees. She didn't use her back. She didn't put her butt up in the air. She actually lowered her level, kept her shoulders up, kept her butt down, grabbed her around the knees, and took her right down, which was perfect technique for that.
And now Zomcik kind of trying to stack Coleman, it looks like. Tyler, what do you think? What do you think needs to happen here for Zom? What do you think she's going to land? Elbow there.
I think Zomcik's doing exactly what she needs to do.
With the power of Coleman.
Might have spoke too soon.
One leg.
Coleman player pushing it out. Coleman's got to be careful because Zomcik is going to come forward.
The power of Amy Coleman. She's always been such a strong fighter. There's that judo. So raining down some ground and pound here, and just
the zombie's still very composed.
The complexion of this round changed in a hurry, guys, with that just pushing her off with one leg.
Zomcik was doing a very good job. Looked like she had her just where she needed her. All of a sudden, Coleman explodes up, rains some amazing punches. I mean, very, very, very much to control that little exchange. That was crazy.
And now we're back where we were. Zomcik trying to catch a submission, but
who knows the how much cardio that took out of Coleman from that. But
that's right.
Pulling guard again. That is not where she wants to be. I'm sorry. Not with somebody as big and strong as Amy Coleman on top of you. Not at all.
Zomcik definitely kind of an unorthodox style, Tyler. You've come up with a BJJ black belt yourself there, Casey Oxendine. But even with a BJJ specialist, you won't see somebody just willingly go into their back like that and into a guard the way that Jessica is doing in this fight.
Yeah, with mixed martial arts, I like to say that if you're a pulling guard, if you have someone in your guard, you're only winning once you've won. It's really hard to win around when someone's in your guard. So it's very odd to me that she keeps going to that position against a much larger opponent who's been doing good in her guard.
Coleman with a hammer fist that almost kind of echoed through the Smoky Mountain Convention Center here.
Coleman's doing a
that
perfect
power.
job on posturing up when she's throwing her punches. She's staying in compact and keeping bicep control, which is the most important thing when you're in someone's guard. If you've got control of their biceps, they can't submit you pretty much in any way.
Well, and
then she's posturing up and landing some big bombs off of her. But Zomcik, she's looking to work a little rubber guard right here. It's where you control your opponent's body with your leg and your hand at the same time.
I think this shows the composure of Zomcik too. You know, she doesn't care to be on her back. She doesn't care for someone to be raining punches down on her because she knows that at any split second she could get that submission.
Oh, she's going for an armbar. Nasty armbar right here. Maybe a sweep even. She's going for a pendulum sweep.
Gets that
Now
leg
she caught an
over the
armbar
face.
and she pops out.
Now we see that
Coleman
strength of
raining down
Coleman.
hammer fist. Coleman, and she stops
Wow,
it right.
just like
KO,
that.
Amy
Wow.
Coleman.
Wow! Incredible. Second round TKO from Amy Coleman.
Amy
Huge
Coleman.
hammer fist.
She puts those 2 amateur losses in the rearview mirror, comes out of here with a very impressive second round TKO victory, and this crowd is loving it, guys. Adam, what'd you see there on the finish?
I just saw brutal, nasty hammer fist. She postured up, and like I was talking about, she postures up and then throws her punches. She don't just lay down and throw wild punches. She postures up, makes the little punches count, and they counted obviously right there with the TKO.
I think that's where you see the difference in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu and mixed martial arts. You know, in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, that's a good place to be. It's okay to be on your back. It's okay to be playing that guard. But this is the hurt game. This isn't a BJJ competition. You got to go like Amy Coleman, postures up, starts raining down punches. You can do all you want, but if those start landing, you know, you really can't do much about that.
We're going to go to Cody for the official announcement of the decision. Once again, your winner, second round TKO, Amy Coleman.
Ladies and gentlemen, the referee Judge Ward is going to stop this fight. 3 minutes and 36 seconds into the second round. Your winner by TKO, Amy
I'm here with your winner, Amy Donkey Kong Coleman. Amy, now tell me, why the nickname Donkey Kong?
I mean, did you guys see the end with all those hammer fists? That's how I got my name.
Very good performance tonight. You're going against a real savvy veteran, good jiu-jitsu and everything. You lost your last 2 matches, I believe, by submission. So how does that feel? You dealt with her guard and stopped her from the guard.
I mean, it feels incredible. She's great. She's, super experienced, well-rounded everywhere. So just for me to be able to close those gaps in my game is an awesome feeling, and I owe it all to my coaches.
It's a great performance. Go ahead and give some shout-outs.
Well, first, I'd like to thank my coach, Ben Harrison, for putting up with me and making me the fighter I am today. For my mentors like Scott Holtzman and all my other teammates in the crowd. All the fans that are here supporting me. My sponsors, Ogle Elrond Burrell, Phil Auer, Fulgham and McIndoe, and just, Valor in general for always bringing me back and letting me bring all my friends and family with me.
Good job. Everybody put your hands together. Amy Donkey Kong Coleman.